If you've been told you have high cholesterol, you probably think, great, now I have to cut out all cheese, red meat, and pretty much all the foods I love. And I get it, because for many years, nutrition was very fat phobic. We told people don't eat fat, don't eat eggs, margarine is good for you. And we didn't really even talk about sugar. So nutrition has come a long way. And we now know when it comes to heart health, it's more about dietary patterns and villainizing certain nutrients. My name is Martha McKittrick. I'm a registered dietitian, and I've been specializing in metabolic and heart health for 20 years, helping people with heart healthy diets, and I want to share some of my advice. First, I like to focus on blood work. I like to see your lipid panel, and this would include your total cholesterol and the breakdown, which would include the LDL, which we could call the bad cholesterol, the HDL. I like to see triglycerides, which is fat in your blood. And then if you have it, I like to see LP(a). That's a marker of genetic high cholesterol. And also ApoB, and that's kind of all the bad cholesterols put together circulating in the blood. And once you have that full picture, it can help kind of plan a program for you. You don't have to know these numbers, but I think it's helpful to know what they are. Once I review labs, I want to take a deep dive into your diet. Now, here's what I see a lot. Somebody will come to me and they'll cut out a lot of cheese, red meat, desserts, and they feel like their diets are really heart healthy. But when I take a really deep dive into their diets, it's low in fiber, fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. The average adult gets in half the fiber for what their body needs. And fiber is one of the most important tools that you can use to help lower your LDL cholesterol. And going back to labs for a minute, I do like to look at your triglyceride levels. If they're high, especially combined with a low HDL, this could indicate some insulin resistance. And at that point, I do look at carbohydrate quality, focusing more on whole grains and limiting added sugars, maybe more strictly than somebody who didn't have that. So as you can see, it's more about like patterns, not just one certain diet for everybody with high cholesterol. Now let's move on to a topic I bet a lot of you are thinking about, and that is saturated fat. Saturated fat is found in butter, fatty cuts of red meat, chicken skin, cheese, full-fat dairy, cream cheese, and it has been shown to raise LDL cholesterol in many people, and we know high levels of LDL is linked to increased rates of heart disease. That's why I do recommend consuming saturated fat in moderation and choose unsaturated fat when possible from olive oil, avocado oil, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish. But there's some nuance here. Not all saturated fat acts the same in the body. For example, saturated fat from butter and red meat has been shown to act differently than saturated fat from something like full-fat yogurt. And that could be because of the probiotics or other components that are in the yogurt. But again, that being said, I do like people to focus on trying to limit saturated fat, not avoid it. But more importantly, including these other foods that we've been talking about, the anti-inflammatory foods like whole grains, fruits, vegetables, because the dietary patterns are more important than villainizing certain nutrients. Heart health is not just about diet. Movement is really important as well. You want to get in aerobic exercise, ideally some resistance training, and you want to minimize long periods of sitting. Sleep and stress matter too, because if you have chronic poor sleep and chronic stress, that can increase inflammation, which can increase risk of heart disease. And lastly, I want to say is try to just focus on 1 or 2 small goals. Don't feel like you have to do everything I just said. And if you need some guidance with a heart healthy diet, whether you're on medication or not, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to help you with a personalized plan.